This video was sponsored by Enhance, NeoWatt, ABRP, Elbilmek, Kempower and EB-Hub. Yo, what's up? We are now sitting in the Kia EV5, but this video will be about the Zeekr 7 GT I borrowed recently. That car had lots of things in the software, mainly bing-bongs and some weird design of things that I think should be changed. So I'll make a video about this and see if you guys agree. We have a nice, healthy discussion about this, and this will also be feedback to Zeekr, because they, at least the Norwegian importer, specifically told me in the beginning when I pick up the car that please tell me what you want to change in the software. And also halfway into the tests, they said, yes, great that you have a list for us. So okay, I'll probably send this list to them, but I also prepare it here. So we'll see. Okay, first thing, don't slow down in the curves. The curve assist was actually turned off, but it still slowed down in the curve. I measured the much at minus 18 kilometers per hour versus the set cruise control speed in the curve. So that is way too much. And then second is fix the damn distraction alert. Many times I was looking at the road, paying attention to the road, did not look at anything else, and it still bugged me that I kept pay attention. Yeah, so I was not good. It was way too trigger happy to nag me about it. Okay, third thing is the distraction alert. Once it chimes, which has an annoying chime, it will turn down the music and then up again. So don't do that. Yes, just keep the music playing. From what I remember, the Xpeng did do a chime, a more pleasant chime with the distraction alert, but it was not annoying, and I think it did not turn down the music. Okay, fourth is okay, so I tested it, the distraction alert again. If I don't look at the road, I tried this on an empty road, right? I look at the screen for somewhere here for 3 seconds, then it nags me. So 3 seconds seems to be the limit here. But many times, because the Zeekr 7 GT is everything is done with the main screen, so many times I will be adjusting some HVAC settings or something, and then the car bugs me. Many things you need to spend maybe slightly more than 3 seconds just to adjust something. So maybe the car should be smarter, so that if it sees some kind of input, user input, and then it actually sees that I'm looking down on the main screen, maybe extend it a little bit more to 4 or 5 seconds before it nags you. But maybe this is just some EU regulation that it must be 3 seconds. So then, I don't know, even this car here, the Kia EV5 I'm sitting in right now, is quite naggy and has lots of bing bongs. I'm like, what the heck, man? Yeah, okay, next point number is 5. Okay, whatever, I lost count down. When I'm doing the auto lane change, it has lane assist, so they don't call it auto lane change, but when I'm trying to change lane, if I do it too quickly and the car that I just passed on the right lane is a bit too close, it will say that the lane assist is not available. But then, unlike other cars like Xpeng or Tesla, it will just wait a couple of seconds and then it will do the lane assist or lane change. Here, well, it's actually a lane assist, lane change assist. It's not auto lane change, by the way. So if you let off the steering wheel halfway, it would cancel and go back again. but the problem is that if the car is too close behind us there, it will not change lane, and it will just, the blinker will just stay on indefinitely. So you can then blink again, and then it will do it for you. But if you turn the wheel manually, like I tend to do many times, because I'm like, oh, again, then it has this little dunk, and the dunk is in the lengthwise, so it changes a bit of the power throttle. And the same when you go back to the right lane again, it also has a little so it makes for not that smooth ride. And well, that was actually the other point. Sorry, I had 2 points in one there. So that's actually 2 points, in case you guys are counting, the 36 points I had. And then, okay, when I I changed drive mode to sport mode or eco mode, once I leave the car and come back, it will forget about this and default the comfort mode. Some people claim that that's it. That is the EU or the NCAP regulation, whatever. I don't believe so, because Xpeng remembers the mode, Tesla remembers the mode, several other cars remembers which mode it is. Does it mean that they are breaking with the EU regulation? I don't think so. Same also if I turn on the seat ventilation, this car actually remembers it. There's a physical button here. think you will hear the ventilation. If you turn on the seat ventilation in the Zeekr and you leave the car and you come back, it will reset it, it will turn it off. But in the Kia, it actually remembers it, which is good. That's how it should be. Remember the state. Okay, sorry, things are coming a bit in random order here. Now we talk about navigation. If I navigate to somewhere, if I just click and point and go somewhere in the map, it will not save that in recent. But if I search for it and then in the search list I navigate, then it saves in the recent. But it should save also when you point and the first thing I mentioned. Okay, I see that this is going to be a long video, so I have to speed up a bit. Okay, navigation search needs to be improved a bit because many times when I search for something quite common like Ioniq Kong, Tangen, or even Rema 1000, Byporten, all the other cars, even this Kia, will find it, those quite common names. But then the Zeekr, just like the 7X I tried last year, cannot find it. And then some strange result in France or Germany comes up instead. I'm like, huh? Okay, and then remove or allow us to switch off the chime when you're driving off a park. It's actually, I found out that chime is when the doors automatically lock or unlock. So that you heard a ding, ding, Okay, can you at least allow us to switch it off, please? And then, okay, when we used, back to navigation, when we use the route overview, which is very nice, I tend to use that because many times I know where I'm going. I just want to get an overview in case there is some traffic incident on the route or something, right? That's why I want to have the whole route ahead, not just the first 200 meters ahead. It's nice, but the Tesla will automatically zoom in because once you're past whatever you're past, that's not relevant anymore. So I just want to know the route ahead. Tesla will automatically zoom. Xpeng doesn't do that, but if you just click out of the overview and then back to the overview, it will then zoom in to the remaining. But the Zeekr doesn't do that. It will stay fixed that the starting position will always be the one where we navigated from. So then I have to cancel navigation, re-navigate again, and then it goes to the zoom in position because I want to have the zoom in so we have more detail about what's going on ahead. So they should fix that, at least allow a way to do that. And then next thing is in the instrument cluster, we see remaining range. Either it's VLDP or dynamic, but we cannot see state of charge, but it shows in the main screen. But I want also the state of charge in percentage to be shown in the instrument cluster, maybe along with battery temperature also. That's a little bit bonus requirement. Okay, seems like there is some lag in the main screen when we have USB drive, put it in the SS port in the center console. It lags the main screen. That was weird. Maybe they had to find out what's going on and then fix that. And then reduce the lag throttle when using eco mode and also comfort mode. Like when you floor it, there is like a couple of 100 millisecond lag for no reason. And then when you're adjusting like plus minus 1 kilometers per hour in the cruise control, I have to press and hold the thing for like 2 seconds before it reacts. It should be way shorter than that, at least 1 second. Or do it even better, like Neo, where you can choose like one tap is 0.5 kilometers per hour and then hold is -5 or +1, I mean, or the other way around, that one tap is then 1 and then press and hold is 5, right? And then also when you try to enable LCC and a slight curve, it's not possible because the car wants me to release the steering wheel, but do it, I'm in a slight curve, I can't just release the steering wheel. Well, you could probably do that, but it's like, it's counter logic in my head because I just want to make sure that the course is there, not going straight. So, okay, if I did that, it would just kind of, but most other cars, you can hold the steering wheel slightly and then it will lock into the steering LCC, right? So, okay, point number 17. When enabling LCC, the left side of the main screen shows some of the driving data with the LCC, whatever, right? But you can swipe it and dismiss it and just see other things instead. But then next time you re-enable LCC again, it will come back. So it should remember that, or at least if I swipe it, dismiss it a couple of times, maybe you should ask me, hey, okay, do you want to remember it like that? Not, something like that. Okay, great. And then the trip 1 and trip 2 in energy management should also show watt-hour per kilometer. It doesn't show that. You have to go in the instrument cluster to see it. In the main screen, you see the kilowatt-hour, whatever, but you don't see that. And then, okay, next, several places in the main screen, the car's configured color doesn't show correctly. Like, in the drive mode screen, for example, the car is always white. I can understand that in the head-up display you want to show white because of the correct to ensure the best contrast, but it's inconsistent in the main screen. Some places it shows the actual car color that you configured. Some places it shows the white color. Okay, next thing. HVAC, when you put it on auto, it's only auto. You cannot choose whether you want it to medium, low, or high, and things like that. Like this car has it, the Kia, you can have it in 3 different steps. That's very nice. Okay, next thing, the time estimation navigation is way off. Whenever I was on 110 kilometers per hour motorway, I saw that the estimated time left was 54 minutes and 91 kilometers. If you do the math, that becomes roughly 100 kilometers per hour only. You should at least count 110 kilometers per hour because that was the majority of the route. Xpeng is even better. It seems like it learns my habits. I'm going around 10% over the speed limit, so it calculates based on that speed. Great, Xpeng. Okay, this next thing, car stops showing a remaining range and state of charge when it's going below around 2-3%. That's scary because suddenly you don't even see, you don't see anything. You just see dash on both percent and state of charge. So they should fix that, because I know that the BMS already knows how many percent it is. Usually they have it in high precision, 0.1% precision, but they're hiding it from the UI, which is not good. It should actually also show how many kilometers of range you have all the way down to 0. Then it's better for the user. Okay, next point. I'm not sure, but I don't think I saw a power limit indicator when I went low. If that's the case, and also same when you charge 100%, I didn't see any region limit. There should be some dash or some indication, right? So yeah, that should be implemented. Next point. The automatic door is way too sensitive when I'm standing close to it. So many times it doesn't open fully. It becomes annoying, the automatic door thing. I have to move away from the car quite far for it to open. I used to own a Tesla Model X. It was way better. Like, I can stand fairly close to it without being in the way, and it will open, and it still has sensors, so it doesn't ding into the door, car in front, in the side, I mean. Point number 25, there is a 0.3 second lag many places in the car when you try to close the door, when you try to adjust the steering wheel, when you press to close the trunk. Okay, some people want that lag, but I don't want that lag. Can I at least choose to not have that lag? Bjørn? All right. Next point is that when you unbuckle, the trip meter on the right side in the instrument cluster is then not visible because it's not buckle is always visible there, and you cannot dismiss that. So it should be a way to dismiss that message, because there could be reasons why you want to stay unbuckled, right? Maybe you're a taxi driver. Okay, next thing, when entering a new speed limit for about 5 to 10 seconds, the left steering wheel button will then change to the new speed. So I don't want that, because usually what happens when I enter a new speed zone, I will use the up down to change speed, but then it would jump to the speed limit. So for example, if you go from 100 limit to 80 limit, I'm cruising a bit over because I'm barely legal, that's my middle name. So I want to go from 110 down to 90, right? So while I'm tapping down, it jumps down to 80. I'm like, you know, they should do it like when you press it, because normally when you press it, at any time you can press, then it jumps to the speed limit. Okay, can you just fix that, Bjørn? And also, again, with the steering wheel up down, when I'm tapping down to change speed, one tap is 5 kilometers per hour. You can't do it too fast. If you just double, triple tap, most other cars will register it, and then they will just here, it misses it. And then you tap down 3 times, it only adjusts once, 5 kilometers per hour. So that is not good. Okay, point number 29. Matrix lights, they don't detect oncoming traffic properly, and then they flash at me. So yeah, this usually happens when you're on very straight road. So I know this is problematic, so maybe it's not very easy to fix it, because many other cars, also German cars, Swedish cars, they have the same problem. Okay, next point. The stop charging button in the main screen has no confirmation, so you can accidentally press it and then it will stop charging. It should have a confirmation so you can avoid accidentally bumping into it. Okay, next point. If charging station limits the power, the car should show it. It doesn't show it. And there are many times when, for some reason, because we have a really fast charging car, right, that something is limiting it, whether it's Circle K, throttling it, or the cable, amphenol cable is overheating. So the car should show it. The Mercedes CLA shows it, Neo shows it, Tesla shows it. So maybe Zeekr should also show it. Okay, next thing. In night mode, navigation will show remaining percent at arrival. You know, very good. But if the state of charge is low, like the arrival state of charge is less than 10%, the font will be red, and that is problematic because the background is already gray, and then you have red text on it, so it becomes really hard to read it. And also the text is quite small. Maybe they should consider yellow text. That would be a better contrast ratio. Okay, so a few last points now. Point number 33. Very often the car doesn't respond to the swipe down menu. I use the swipe down menu a lot because there you can disable the speed limit warning. It doesn't respond to it. So it's like, or when it swipes down, great, I disable the speed limit warning and some other stuff, and then I try to swipe up. It doesn't work. So I'm like, yeah. Okay, next point. The app should show more charging stats. For example, power, amps, phases, time left in the main screen. It doesn't show much right now in the main screen. Next point, the app power control, which is in the app, should show if it's charging on 3-phase or not, because now it doesn't show it. It just shows you 15 amp and then it's like 11 kilowatt. Huh? Okay, last point. Sorry, I have a little bit allergy. If I turn off the distraction alert and emergency lane and I enable LCC, it will be a force on, because this is supposedly some kind of Euro NCAP 2026 requirement, probably to get enough points. But is it possible so that if I turn off those things and then, okay, I use LCD, fine, then it automatically turns on. But then as soon as I turn off the LCD again, maybe for some twisty roads, then I want the distraction alert and the lane, the emergency lane, to be disabled again. Can it remember that state? Is it possible, or is it not legal according to EU regulation? Yeah, because this Kia has also another annoying thing, is that also the emergency lane is re-enabled every time here when you're using LCC, but when you exit LCC, then you have to disable that lane, like emergency lane, because it's very annoying. Same here, I should mention in the Zeekr, same there. Like if you're driving on slightly tighter roads, like we have many places in Norway, it would start pulling on the steering wheel. It's like, no, so then I want to disable that shit. Okay, anyway, so that was a lot of points about stuff that should be changed. Do you guys agree, or am I just an old nagging fart that I woke up on the wrong side of the car or some shit. Okay, anyway, that's gonna be for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.